So we're about 1 minute after the hour. There's still some folks getting logged in. I just want to again thank everyone on behalf of myself and TJ for y'all being here today on master marketing using technology in 2025. There are lots of new exciting trends out there. I was actually at an in-person event yesterday in Washington, D.C., where there were a lot of people sharing some best practices they're working on, advisors getting into the podcast world, some really cool marketing trends that advisors are taking advantage of in their offices. Also, of course, brainstorming. And before we officially get kicked off, I always like to start with we love questions, we love interaction. So we actually have another team member on here with us today, too, Lex Brooks, who will be tackling some questions in the chat if you have any. And of course, TJ and I will take questions live as well. First off, I'll introduce myself and let TJ introduce himself. We'll get this thing kicked off with a couple questions, some good interaction, and talk about our topic. So I am Alison Susko, Vice President of Community here at AssetMap, and I'm thrilled to be joined. A lot of times we're doing partner webinars and getting other companies involved in our sessions, but today it's just us folks at AssetMap. And again, I'm thrilled to be joined by my colleague and my friend TJ. TJ, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you, Allison. My name is TJ Hill. I'm VP of Marketing at AssetMap. Been with the company for about 5 years. However, this is my first webinar since about 2022. So hopping back on the horse, hoping it's like riding a bike all over again. So excited to share what we've put together for you.
That's excellent. And yes, it definitely is just like riding a bike. Everybody can jump back into the webinar game and do something new, just like you all can do some new things with your marketing. So we wanted to throw it out there. Like I said, we love interaction. We love using the chat and the Q&A. So let's test it out. And for our audience today, what is one of your biggest marketing challenges that you're having in your firm? Is there anything out there you would love to learn more about or really dive into and get some expertise on? Go ahead and throw your biggest marketing challenge at your firm in the chat. And also, but not in replacement of, who do you have in the Super Bowl this weekend? Who are you looking for the big wins come from? There can be no answer of neither. You have to pick one. And we hope it's the right answer. If you look at TJ's background, that should give you a clue. So go ahead and throw in the chat or the Q&A. Okay, we've got a Chiefs from Cheryl. Oh, I see a lot of Casey.
Yeah, we're outnumbered, I think.
Ooh, are we marketing only to the Midwest? Okay, so I do see some great suggestions. Okay, thank you, Greg, on what they could use help with in their marketing. And I also see some Eagles fans jumping in the chat, which is exciting. I understand that, Joseph.
Yeah, fair enough, Joseph.
Yeah. Oh God, I love this joint reaction of marketing help needed and also who you're rooting for in the Super Bowl. Getting responses. I love that, TJ. Are we not always working on that as well? The best way to get responses from people we're marketing to. Anyone but the Chiefs. As far as I'm concerned, that's a great segue to say the Eagles is the answer, and we can get going here in our agenda. Thank you for throwing in some of those ideas and also your opinions on football. And with that, let's talk a little bit about today's agenda, and hopefully we can work in some of your requests on what you're trying to learn more about.
Very cool. So I'm going to walk through an outline of what we're going to talk about today, right? So first, we're going to go over marketing trends and opportunities. I'm going to take that section. Allison's going to talk about leveraging tech in your marketing strategy. Moving on, we'll go through how to effectively use that marketing to then prospect and convert your leads, mostly through your website, but there will be more to share there. And then finally, quick and effective deliverables that you can share with your clients. And that's today's agenda. So excited to jump in.
Yeah, so I've been using this visual in a few different presentations lately, and a lot of you are going to recognize the famous Kitsis map, right? And the one on the left, I was actually able to find on Pinterest a few months ago when I was getting ready for a presentation. And yesterday, when I was at that event in DC, someone mentioned to me that there's even a way earlier one. So I need to get my hands on like the very first one. So if any of you out there have a screenshot of that, send it over to us at AssetMap. But the purpose of this slide is is definitely to talk about, just quickly the state of the industry and how everything is dramatically changing, right? 10 years ago, even in this, we've got 7 or 8 years ago here with the 2017 map of the technology available to financial advisors in financial services. Man, has that changed in, just a few short years. I see some old logos. I see some companies in different categories. I see so many of our kind of heavy hitters these days missing from 2017, and also some that might not be around anymore. Things are definitely changing. Lots of acquisitions, lots of mergers. So really a kind of a fun time to be in financial technology. I've spent my entire career here, but I will tell you, it's never moved faster than it is today. And, when you see that map on the right, and I know there's different ways you can look at it on Kits's website to make it a little more digestible, but when you look at it in this format, your options are endless, and your options are endless around marketing, around financial planning, around portfolio management. But you don't have to just limit your technology to when you think about marketing yourself to just marketing technology or just what you have available to you on the marketing platforms. There are definitely ways to work in your niche, work in what's really important to you and your client base, the tech you're using to support those things, into places like your website, or, to be able to reference on LinkedIn if you're doing a lot of marketing on LinkedIn. I bring this map up for a couple of reasons. One, to say there are lots of options out there for you in a way that sometimes might even seem overwhelming. And I also bring it up to say there's always new players on the scene. We were one time a new player on the scene at AssetMap, and there are lots of great companies that are allowing you to take what you're focusing in on the most at your firm and what's most important to your clients and really allow you to become the expert in those topics, things like tax planning, estate planning, and those niche products that are really going to help you take your practice to the next level, and allow tech to support that process, not take it over. So, don't be overwhelmed when you see this. Reach out to your peers, reach out to your study groups, even reach out to me or reach out to other fellow people in the tech industry and see what might make most sense for you, because the options are really there for you to take advantage of. And it's an exciting time in technology. Why else is technology important when it comes to marketing, or really any other reason? There are a few different things that really stand out and that tend to be talked about a lot lately. Things like the client base is changing. Clients are younger. Folks are getting involved in meetings that might not have been before. So if I were to give you an example, I just recently met my father's financial advisor for the first time just a few months ago. He invited me to a meeting with his financial advisor as he was making some changes, and said, hey, I think it'd really be nice if you met this guy. You're in the industry and you're the executor of my will, and I really want you to get to know each other. I really, really liked him. He was great. He utilized technology. He brought me into the conversation really effectively. And, for you, obviously, that's an opportunity when you're meeting other generations of your clients that are, related to their finances. Certainly, it gives you an opportunity to work with them as well. So as your client base is changing, maybe money might be, moving hands in the next few years. Leveraging tech to support that is going to be a huge help for you and your practice. And, the expectations are different. When you think about the map we just looked at, people really are looking for a tech-enabled experience, but with that support of the financial advisor. We don't feel comfortable enough, I don't think, as clients or as clients of financial advisors to be making all the important decisions by ourselves. We need the experts to give us support in making those important decisions. So allowing you guys to take advantage of the best tech out there, and allow you to focus on the relationships and that kind of giving people peace of mind is so valuable, and tech can really support you in that effort. And of course, using tech to market. And that's really what we're going to be talking about today for the next few minutes is, making sure that, the technology you're using and that you're investing in your firm is also being reflected in your marketing efforts, so that your clients know you're, at the top of your game when it comes to, keeping up with technology and utilizing it. And also maybe getting them involved in your tech usage as well through portals and things like that. So with that, I'm going to pass it back over to TJ, and we're going to talk about some exciting trends out there that are happening that maybe you haven't even kind of thought about yet.
Yeah, very cool, Alison. Excited to dive into these 5 areas, especially. These are basically the 5 areas of marketing that we've identified through both real life practice as the marketing engine for AssetMap, as well as a bit of some research that you'll hear from me as I go through these 5 areas. basically what I want to do to help you is get like 2 or 3 takeaways to hit the ground running in terms of your marketing engine as well. This is by no means kind of an end-all be-all list of marketing tactics for you to hone in on. But the idea, again, is to give you a couple key takeaways to help your business either get in front of new prospects, nurture leads, or communicate more effectively with your existing client base. And we'll start by discussing how to utilize AI to create marketing collateral more efficiently. AI continues to be the biggest anticipated growth area for advisors, according to the 2024 WellStack survey, with about 75% of respondents, expecting it to have the greatest impact on the industry over the next 5 years, actually. Next, I'll touch on gated content or lead magnets, you might know that better as, and how there's been an incredible resurgence in bringing back, in practice, offering ebooks, calculators, etc., in exchange for contact information. As always, social media is and continues to be a huge driver in creating brand awareness for your business. In today's session, there's a slide in particular that I'll touch on social, how to use it to target your ideal persona or client base. Finally, onto direct mail, which is also having a resurgence of its own and is a cost-effective way to get your brand in front of prospective clients in a more tangible way. And then finally, we'll get to what's been on an advisor's bread or butter for a long time now, which is referrals, but with a bit of a digital spin. If you could go to the next slide, Alison.
Sure.
Yeah, for me, when I was putting together this presentation, did a little bit of a history dive on ChatGPT. It's kind of crazy how it's been around for almost 2.5 years already. AI is clearly here to stay. I really implore you to start utilizing it as soon as possible, even if it's at a very beginner level. One of the easiest ways to get started is by using AI prompts to streamline content creation for emails, social, personalize your client outreach, or boost engagement, or all the above. If you're familiar with Michael Kitces and Carl Richards, I think end of January, they put together one of their recent podcasts talking about how to get value out of ChatGPT, which is mainly to serve as a brainstorming partner and drafting marketing content for you to then take that content and then personalize it to your voice, your business, your niche, all of that. So let's start real quickly by talking about content creation. So AI can help you generate blog ideas, can help generate social media posts, and even email campaigns tailored to your audience. I like to say you can now bypass the writer's block. I'm very familiar with, as a former writer, that you would normally get when trying to be creative, like using prompts such as write a LinkedIn post that explains benefits of tax-efficient investing in a simple, engaging way. AI, ChatGPT in particular, takes that prompt as the starting point, and then you can refine that with your expertise and, again, your personal voice. AI can also help boost your engagement by crafting compelling calls to actions. So, for instance, instead of a generic schedule a call with me or set up a consultation, you could ask AI to kind of refine it and say, hey, look, write a CTA that encourages young professionals, if that's the audience you're going after, to book a financial planning session in a friendly and approachable tone. So the key takeaway from this slide, being that it's all prompts right here, is that AI is not here to replace advisors. You'll often hear our CEO, Adam Holt, say AI is advisor intelligence. So the idea is just to amplify your expertise, your professionalism. So by leveraging these prompts, you can work smarter, obviously not harder, to connect with audience and then grow your business from there.
Yeah, and a couple of things I recently learned. I love that, TJ. I think that's such a good suggestion. And I am kind of late to the game when it comes to ChatGPT, but now I'm loving it, and I'm loving it for ways that are saving me time, maybe organizing some thoughts that I had, or we have a lot of internal meetings here in the marketing team where I can get some outlines drawn up from notes that we've taken. So if you're a little nervous like I was in the beginning to put content out there that might have sounded like it was created by ChatGPT, another thing I've recently learned is it really gets to know you and your voice. And so the more you use it and the more you use your ChatGPT account, it's going to kind of give you answers that are more like something you might say, or would include something that you typically might focus on. So it really is cool, and you can definitely dip your foot in without going crazy. And I definitely agree with TJ that it's here to stay. And I think there's lots of ways you can use it, even in short kind of short bursts if you're trying to get used to it. That'll really save you time, or kind of maximize what you're trying to do, especially with social media. I think that's a really great point, TJ.
Yeah, absolutely. And then next slide, Allison. Cool. So when I talked about key takeaways, I also wanted to give you, areas that you can go to investigate this, especially like free applications that you can take advantage of. Basically, every application at this point has some AI capability. And I wanted to quickly highlight these three. So we've covered a lot of the more common ways I would say ChatGPT can help improve your marketing efforts. However, they recently rolled out daily tasks and reminders tailored to your specific marketing goals. So say your goal is to stay top of mind for clients, you could use a prompt saying, hey, I'm a financial advisor, and on the first day of each month, please research the top market events from let's say the last 30 days and draft a concise, easy to understand summary I can send to clients. Again, you're taking what it pulls for you, you're putting it into your own voice, your own style, your own branding, whether you're setting emails out through MailChimp, HubSpot, etc. It's definitely a useful tool to use there. Next, I highlighted Canva, which we use somewhat at AssetMap as well. It's a design-friendly platform that you can use to create custom AI-generated images, basically by describing them just using text, which is kind of crazy. You can create AI presentations, video editing, and more. Finally is Flicky. This is one of the newer ones for the marketing team at AssetMap. It uses AI to convert text into videos and audio to help create more visual and high quality content at obviously a fast rate, because you're just giving them what you want to be transcribed. You can also leverage that video content then on your social channels, your YouTube, your TikToks, LinkedIn, etc. So just a couple real cool tools that I wanted to highlight quick. And then now so you can move to the next slide as well. Okay, next topic I want to talk about marketing related in the trends that we're seeing is that gated content is in fact back, and for a good reason. So according to Monster Insights, gated content is providing businesses with conversion rates up to 45%, so close to 50%, which is kind of crazy. If you want to break that down, that's essentially 45 pre-qualified leads for every 100 visitors to your website. So for context, the trend for a while was to offer ebooks, let's say tax strategies if you're in the tax area, and white papers with no form fill required. Basically, it was handing them the content and saying, here's some valuable content, and in the hopes of that they will revisit your website or they'll reach out to contact you. That's kind of gone back to the older ways, right? So in 2025, gated content like, let's say, retirement planning calculators, tax optimization strategies, and more is expected to be used more strategically, offering you high value information that truly justifies the need to provide their contact details to access it. There's also another strong emphasis on the personalization of the content to ensure the gated content is relevant to a person's specific needs rather than just a generic lead capture tool. This means prioritizing quality content over quantity and using gated content as a way to further nurture your funnel down the funnel, essentially to get them to a consultation, to a sales pitch, to a client meeting, basically.
Yeah, I love this too. And I have no problem accessing gated content if it's something that I'm really interested in improving something I'm working on, whether it be through my personal life or through work. I'm always game to, if it's some place that I think is providing me really valuable information, please take my information and I may be able to use it more valuably in the future. So I think it's great, for sure.
Well, thank you, Alison. Next, social media. So at this point, you've probably heard about social media and marketing via social media ad nauseum. But it's a great tool at the end of the day for building credibility and attracting new clients. If you're posting consistently, which is super important, sharing valuable content, You're probably also well aware of the $83 trillion great generational wealth transfer that's occurring right now. Our CEO has talked a lot about it. And, with half of mass influent, high net worth investors engaging with advisors using social, while also 79% of millennials and Gen Z adults accessing financial and social, there's never been a better way essentially to get in front of these demographics inheriting this intergenerational wealth. So rather than talk about using social broadly, I want to kind of narrow, how you can use it in your business. So you can now target these specific demographics on platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, X by tailoring your content and advertising to match basically their interests, their needs, and life stages. So I want to call out LinkedIn in particular. You can actively comment on trending LinkedIn discussions around, let's say, personal finance. You can participate in LinkedIn groups for younger professionals. So again, just providing your input, your thought leadership there. And you can also offer, this goes back to gated versus non-gated content, but you can offer free resources and lead magnets to attract younger generations through posting on not only your feed, your LinkedIn feed, but through those groups as well. Alison, anything to add there? If not, we can.
No, I think that's awesome. I know LinkedIn is a huge spot for our financial professionals that we work with, and there's some people out there doing some great things on their LinkedIn, and it's always about content. I did before we move into direct mail. I heard something cool yesterday that I thought was really interesting from someone I consider to be an expert in the space, Matt Halloran, who works with podcasting and coaching, and he's a longtime industry professional. He's great if you don't follow him. He made a comment about he does a ton of research on the value of what you post on LinkedIn and how to get kind of drive engagement. And he found that if every 3 business posts that you post something personal. And when I say personal, that's definitely something that you could tie back to your business as well. Maybe it's a family photo, where you're talking about your efficiency is allowing you to save more time and spend it with your family, the people who you care about the most. So business and content posts are super important, but when you work in every 2 or 3 posts that kind of relating it back to your personal life and how it values you, people just love that. They love, it's a human nature to see how someone might benefit from things personally. And I thought that was a really good piece of advice that I could share.
Yeah, absolutely. And onto direct mail, I guess the theme here with a lot of these 5 trends are that a lot of older tactics are back again in 2025. So what's also back in 2025 is sending direct mail, basically justified by these stats that you see here. 70% of consumers consider physical mail to be more personal than email. I know a lot of us, for me in particular, tend to toss these types of direct mail pieces away immediately in the trash. But if you make it attention grabbing enough and you personalize it to like the nth degree, it definitely becomes more effective than instantly just deleting an email without even opening it, right? And if you run a more comprehensive, let's say an omni-channel campaign where you're sending 3 or 4 emails to an audience, you're creating targeted ads or social posts directed at those audiences, and plus you're adding a direct mail piece that's being sent to them, you can see conversion rates up to 40% because obviously your brand is now top of mind for them. I know for us at Asimeb, it takes 4 or 5, even up to 8 touches to convert a prospect to just a demo, in fact. So sometimes the more the better, but there's certainly a limit into not becoming spammy to them as well. And if you think about how many people are going paperless these days, with banks, with mortgages, etc., your direct mail piece now has a higher chance of being seen and read because they are getting less spam mail, hopefully, and less of their regular accounts being mailed to them as well.
I love how if you tie a couple things together, TJ, like you've said, that can really boost, your conversion rate. Is if you're, doing a nice mail sequence, or you have, you've upped your social game and you're really staying up on your LinkedIn posting. You can also boost that with, a direct mail piece to a similar audience. I think that's such a great suggestion.
Absolutely.
All
You can
right.
go next. Final trend for us is Again, word of mouth. So referrals continue to be main driver of business for financial professionals, including 58% of high net worth clients finding their advisors via a referral. Yet, you'll see here, yet only less than 20% of advisors are not asking for referrals on a consistent basis.
Mm.
I want to kind of transition that into Google reviews, right? So that these are essentially digital referrals or testimonials that are super underutilized, even though the SEC's updated advisor marketing rules allowed advisors to utilize these. In fact, fewer than 10% of SEC registered investment advisors report using these types of reviews. Which is just a huge potential opportunity there. So referring back to kitchens.com again, they did an article on Google reviews in particular. They found compelling evidence that financial advisors can generate meaningful quantity of Google reviews. These reviews, they'll boost your Google business profile, they'll boost your website, and ultimately they help potential clients find you through Google searches such as financial advisors near me, or searches that highlight a niche that you're focused on, like financial advisors who assist with divorce. So I recommend reaching out to clients you have the closest, most positive relationships with and ask them politely to fill out a Google review for you if you want to implement this strategy.
Hmm.
And with that, I'll close out the 5 marketing trends section. Alison, if there's anything you want to add.
Yeah, I just so you're basically saying there that if you are currently working with maybe no reviews on your firm, and you potentially can get that up to, few, maybe even a handful, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that if I were to Google, best advisors in Western Pennsylvania for women, and someone who has reviews might be kind of prioritized in the response list. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Google algorithm continues to operate as the most traffic, the most highest reviewed businesses locally will appear the highest in searches as well.
Very
All to
cool.
say, you should start by creating a Google business profile if you haven't already. That just creates the foundation of your business through Google.
Thank you, TJ. Those trends are awesome. And I was laughing too when we were putting it together that some of them seem to be like resurgence from before, but we're hearing from all kinds of even fellow fintech companies that especially direct mail has kind of really been a nice spot in their marketing efforts for the end of 2024 and 2025. So definitely be thoughtful about it. You probably don't want to spend money on just sending it to anyone and everyone, but TJ's mentioned a few times, like, decide who your niche is. I'm sure you already know who it is, but the best ways to contact them, whether that be virtually or through mail. And there's platforms out there to help you with that, I'm sure. So how can you leverage tech? And in this case, maybe specifically Asset Map in your marketing strategy. And it's really interesting. Asset Map has a ton of features, and we'll get into that in a couple of minutes. But we kept talking a few minutes ago, TJ and I, about what are some examples? So we talked about how you can ramp up your website, how you can include, some LinkedIn items, ebooks over on the left-hand side. So we're just going to look at some examples here. So I threw up a image of our friends over at FMG. They have a tremendous set of ebooks around marketing ROI and generating more business. I definitely recommend you head over to their website and check out some of their content. But they have a way there to, as it says there, using pop-ups, they're going to ask you for your information. And I definitely recommend being part of their funnel as well. They have great newsletter content and always really valuable educational information. But FMG is a nice example of a company in the fintech space that is using gated content in a really valuable way, because what they're providing you is 100% worth it. And it's a really nicely built out website, as you can imagine, as they're a marketing company. So that makes sense. Couple others here. Jason Hamilton has certainly kind of tackled the social media aspect of his firm. TJ, we added him in here. I think you might have some context on what he's all about. What's he really focusing on with his social media strategy?
Yeah, Jason Hamilton, shout out to Jason. He's helped us with not only testimonials, but joining us for past webinars highlighting what he's doing on social media. But he basically created a private Facebook group. He's gotten it up to 20K members, and that's no easy feat, right? So he's not only continuing to promote it, but I see him posting constantly, consistently videos, not only on Facebook, but he has a big following on LinkedIn as well. So he's definitely taken advantage of that. And obviously not all of those 20K members are part of his, firm's client base, right? So they're sharing uh, who they're working with. They're sharing best practices, tips and tricks, all of that. Just a super positive group there.
I agree. And finally, using fintech services to help market your niche. So we have a screenshot there of it's kind of small in the bottom right there, highlighting Holistaplan. Holistaplan has some great examples on advisors' websites who focus on tax planning. Say, hey, let's consider working together, learn more. How can we help you with your tax strategy? So that's, they have a lot of great resources both on their page and also on some advisors' pages that are focusing in on tax planning or maybe looking to grow that part of their business. And all of these tech companies, AssetMap included, are able to provide you with ways to get those links, those videos up onto your website in a pretty easy fashion. And we can help you with that about AssetMap as well. So here are a few examples of how we've seen some AssetMap subscribers kind of include our product in their websites, and it's going to nicely segue into what I'm going to show you next, which is, hey, now you've got some leads. What can you do with them specifically around AssetMap? Because we have a great system to help you do some really quick, easy, client-friendly fact finding, which I think is really important in the beginning of that funnel with your clients or potential clients. So over on the left-hand side, just to give you a couple ideas, we've got an example of this Winnow Wealth. They are actually saying, hey, let's schedule a fit call. They're calling it a fit call. Let's see if we're a good fit to potentially work together. They're doing some prospecting in their business. They have got some AssetMap information on their site. And a couple ideas, that Winnow's using and some others are, if you're setting up, let's say, a first meeting with a Calendly link, maybe we've seen some trends in, hey, let's get AssetMaps in this case, quick and easy, super client friendly fact finder included in that Calendly link to say, hey, pick a time with me. I'm so excited to meet with you in a couple weeks. Do me a favor, if you and your spouse could sit down and tell me a little bit more about yourself before the meeting, along with when you schedule it, that'd be great. And what that's going to do is, and I'm going to show you the process in AssetMap in a minute, it's going to give you the ability to say, hey, Jane and Joe, can't wait to meet with you. You don't know a whole lot about them maybe yet. They're just a prospect that you met at a networking event. Let's see what they've got going on before they even come into the meeting to make you, your relationship kick off on a valuable foot and make it valuable, like I said, from that first meeting instead of, doing things like asking for statements that might be just a little bit too much before you're kind of built that relationship a little bit more. Other things you could consider doing is, getting custom links put on here, telling clients a little bit more about your process. So once you get through that, the part TJ was talking about, someone's Googled you and now they're on your website because they were able to find you and they, you fit their need. They can actually come to your website and see some of the technologies that you use, examples of what they might expect when they meet with you, watch a video on their process. Very, very cool options. You can see right there in the middle, click here to build your own asset map. And that's the experience you're going to go through here in a couple of minutes with me that your clients would feel and go through to go ahead and give you some insight about what they've got going on. So lots of cool options. Again, we could support that if it's something you have questions about. TJ, anything you'd add to that before I show people about discovery?
No, super excited to jump into the discovery process. It's a huge win if you're trying to quickly and efficiently convert leads via your website.
Yeah, so, obviously disclaimer here, this is a marketing asset map webinar, so I'm not going to go into everything that we can accomplish as a technology tool for your office. I'll talk more about some of the things we've got if you're new to asset map here as well. But just so you know, our team is always happy to give you more context on additional features and functionality of the system. But, we're really focusing in on kind of the prospecting, the converting today in this webinar and show you just for a few minutes on how asset map can support that. And but that's not to say that it's, if you're not doing a whole ton of prospecting, it's not appropriate for you. That's just kind of the focus of this webinar. So what you're seeing here in this GIF that's kind of changing before your eyes is what that client experience would be. And we're going to do it together in a minute. The purpose behind creating what we call our discovery interview, and that actually was launched basically right when I started at Asset Map about 6.5 years ago, was let's let the client and prospect do a little work for you. Not only is it going to do some of the data entry on your behalf, but it's also going to get that Asset Map up and running from their perspective in a very non-intrusive, easy way. Hey, tell me a little bit more about yourself. Oh, I have a house. I have a job. I have, a 401k. Oh, I also have that old IRA that I forgot to do something with, and I really need to meet with someone about that. So the client starts thinking about things that they might want to change, or they know that they need support with from their financial professional. So we decided to build that into the platform a few years ago. It's super easy. It can happen through QR code. It can happen through a custom link that you have for yourself as the advisor. You can send it out to a group of individuals, maybe that you had at a prospecting event, or you can send it to one individual and their spouse. So there's lots of different ways to use the discovery tool within Asset Map, and our team is, of course, willing to help you get that underway. But it's so easy, it's so quick, and wouldn't it be nice to get a notification when a new person that you're looking to meet with has given you insight into their life before that meeting happens? It is one of my favorite features of Asset Map, hands down, and something I love talking about. So I'm going to give you a couple stats, and then I'm going to jump into the system and show you as the client would experience it. But on average, it only takes about 12 minutes to complete a discovery if you're a client and their spouse. About 48% of people who open the discovery tool from their advisor or potential advisor are completing it. And the example I used yesterday was, it's pretty easy math. I give this out to 100 people that I just met with. Maybe they're plan participants. Maybe they attended a prospecting meeting I had. And 48 people out of 100 are going to complete it. That is a pretty darn good stat for you to go ahead and drive some new business. And finally, 38 billion in household finances collected annually using the discovery tool in Asset Map. Once you start getting into the multiple billions, you lose me. It goes over my head as far as how I can relate to that. But that is a huge number that is collected and put into our system for our financial advisors, and great info that they might not have had otherwise. So really, really cool stat there. TJ, I'm going to lean on you and make sure that you can now see my Asset Map platform.
I can.
Excellent. All right, so we're going to log in. Hopefully I'm already logged in. I am. And we're going to put our client hats on, I like to say. So a couple things about this discovery page, and obviously I'm logged into Asset Map here. A couple of options. So I'm logged in as Alison Susko. You can see my picture on the top right-hand side. We have a personal discovery link. That personal discovery link, if I open it up, it's going to say, let's get started. So I can send this to a client. I can use that QR code that we showed you before. I can make it part of my email signature. I can put it on my website. There are lots of options for people to just give you some insight into their life and see if it's a good fit for you two to work together, or however many of you. So this would be your image at the top. So you're seeing Alison as the advisor up at the top. And we're going to go ahead and put, like I say, our client hats on. I'm going to pretend that I am the client. I'm filling this out, and that TJ is my advisor. So I'm going to say my name is Alison Susko. I'm going to put my email in here. You can see I've done this a few times, and tell you that I'm not a robot. Not today, anyway. Hit continue. And it's going to say welcome. It's going to say let's start now. I am going to give it some info. So we've got Alison Susko. We've got female. I'll make myself a couple years younger, and I'll hit save. And you can add some folks. So for today's purposes, I am going to add my family. I'm going to add my niece, Evelyn. Did I spell that right? Nope. Don't judge my spelling. This is the hard part. Evelyn Smith. She is a female. She is 2, and save. That's all I'm going to do. But you can imagine, just so you don't have to sit here and watch me type, you can add as many people or whoever is applicable as you need to. Grandma, spouse, kids, niece who you're hoping to help pay for college, anybody. And that's going to build them out on the Asset Map, letting your advisor know that that's an important person to you and that they matter to you in your financial life. Which is great. It's one of my other favorite parts about Asset Map is we include the whole family, no matter how different it is than their next door neighbor. So it's very important that you have this situation look just like them. All done. So let's get an idea of your financial picture. I'm sure by now you're thinking, well, this isn't too hard for my client to figure out. They can tell me that they have some income, they own a house, They definitely have a loan that's associated with the house. I'm pretty sure I have a group policy, and I have a checking account, and I have a 401k. Pretty easy. So it's even giving me a complete sign up at the top. So it's letting you know you're on track. And you hit continue. It's going to give you those parameters now, and I'm going to give you an idea of how easy the fact finding is. And just remember, behind the scenes, it's letting me know that it's building an asset map for me and creating it for the advisor. So we're going to say Allison has an income, she's an exec, and she makes $778,000 a year. Save. And we're going to add another income if we wanted to. You get the point. But we're going to say we're finished with that. We're going to say that we have a bank account, and we're going to say that Evelyn actually owns that bank account, and it's a savings account, and she's got it's Citizens Bank, Citibank, we'll do that, and it's got $3,000 in it. Maybe that's a jointly owned account that you have set up for Evelyn. Do that. Done. And let's add the house as well. So we've got Allison, primary home in Philly, go Birds, Birds, just for you Eagles fans out there. And that it's worth $600,000. Save. So you can see, easy, quick, giving us that complete sign at the top. Clients love it. If I were to leave a couple sections open, maybe I said, well, I have that life insurance policy, but through work, but I'm really not sure much about it. If you leave something as the client here that I don't complete, it's actually going to put a placeholder on the asset map for you to say, well, Allison told TJ that she's got a loan, she's got some investments and an insurance policy, but maybe she didn't have the details about that enough to figure it out. That's going to give TJ as the advisor a reminder to say, hey, I noticed that you put on there that you have a life insurance policy. Is there anything you want to tell me about that? Oh, yeah. I looked it up. It's, 50% of my income, whatever the case may be. Nice reminder. So we'll tell the client, great work. Again, they can fill out as much or as little as they want, hit continue, and now it's really, really cool stuff at the end. What else is on your mind? Well, I'm really worried about retirement planning and also providing a legacy for my kids, whatever the answer is. Continue. You can even type something in if you want to. Anything on your mind, like a free forum, what do you want to talk about? Can't wait to meet with you. Remind me to talk to you about, my mom's trust as well. You can put in whatever you want. All done. It's going to say congratulations. It's going to say if you have any further questions, please contact your financial professional. It's going to give the contact information for you as the advisor. They can shoot you an email if they want to. But most importantly, if I hop back over into the Asset Map platform and I do a little refresh, I should have a new Asset Map discovery complete. It's going to give me a notification on the top right. Someone completed something a few seconds ago. And also it's giving me the ability to actually go in and see what they did. So you're the advisor, you're going to get a quick notification. Oh, cool. Allison filled out her discovery. Now, if you're TJ, the advisor, you can hit this little home button. You can come in. Now, in the interest of time, I didn't bore you with a whole bunch of content, but you're going to be able to see really quickly. Oh, okay. Allison's got a pretty good income. It looks like she has a family member, Evelyn, who is, important to have on this map. It looks like she said that there's some things that are important to her and that she wants to potentially leave a legacy, but didn't give me any information. Let's make sure we ask about that. And again, at this point, you have a lot of options. You can help build this out a little bit if they're an existing client and use our integrations. But really what we're seeing here and what's so valuable is when that meeting comes up, you've reviewed what they've given you so far. You can fill this out together in this first meeting. The spouse can get involved. They can bring anything that they might not have known off the top of their head, and you can ask those important questions because once that client puts in or prospect some of even the most basic information like their income and that they own a house in Philadelphia and that they have a liability attached to that house, it gives you permission to ask them about those things. And if there's anything that maybe you could optimize, anything that they could help you with, even if it's something that you don't manage now. Now, I'm going to leave you with this when it comes to just strictly discovery and what we tend to hear when people are using it. And it is really, really cool. And it is basically as simple as I've had this client for 10 years. I'm now getting up and running on Asset Map. And I'm learning more about my clients by having them help me out with discovery before I load them into Asset Map than I've ever known before because they feel comfortable doing it. It's a fun process. And now I know even more about them, allowing me to help them even more. And I think that's a really valuable thing, both for you as the advisor and also for your clients to get involved and also give you permission to ask the important questions. So back into our slides, and we'll talk about a few more things. And then, of course, if you have any questions, get them loaded in. I know Lex is keeping an eye on it, but we're happy to discuss them as well. Our friend Eric Negron, he's an advisor that's been using AssetMap for many years. He's really seeing a boost in his conversion rates using things like implementing the AssetMap process early on. So things like the proof is in the numbers, Forefront's prospecting efforts are really impacted because of giving an AssetMap deliverable to someone who might not even want to work with them yet, or might not even have committed to doing it. So what I mean by that is he's actually using the discovery tool as a way to see if it's a good fit to work together. And he's actually giving, whether someone decides to work with his firm or not, their asset map back to them and saying, hey, here's something you can take away. Here's a deliverable for you that might be valuable for you to keep, whether we decide to work together or not. And he's providing value before they even decide to kind of be a good fit together or decide to work together, which is really, really cool. So all of this leads to some deliverables, right? Clients want quick and easy deliverables. Part of the reason why our CEO and founder Adam Holt created AssetMap was because clients aren't really interested in 80-page reports, super complicated charts and graphs. They tend to just go over people's heads, make them sometimes even more nervous than they might already be about their finances and the important decisions that they have to make. So creating AssetMap, giving them that financial inventory, that really quick and easy thing to look at and say, you know what, my spouse couldn't make it to the meeting, but I can't wait to go home and meet with him about what we talked about today. And it's something that they could work on even at their house. Draw all over it, write notes for the next meeting. But in addition to printed deliverables, we wanted to make it available this year for the clients to access via a portal. So there's lots of financial technologies out there that have portal options, and we're no different. Clients want to be able to log in at their leisure and see what's new, see what's on their asset map report. Maybe they're meeting with another professional like a mortgage agent. Maybe they are, talking to their, it's tax season. Maybe they're talking to their tax attorney. Maybe they're talking to their CPA. It's a way for not only financial professionals to all be clued in, but of course, a client could log in, their spouse could log in, really at their leisure if they have, a login that you've provided them to see that asset map report. With more functionality to come, we're looking, I think, this year to add in ways for kind of communication or requests to come in. TJ, I'm saying it wrong. What is the new product kind of coming soon in the next few months around portal?
That'll give the advisor the ability to edit the client access,
Okay,
edit
so
access.
able to do a little bit more. So it's a V1, it's a view only. We did that on purpose so that we could minimize, the clients being able to adjust all the hard work you've done with the asset map once maybe they got initially started. But it is really great to be able to access it digitally. And again, like TJ said, look for more functionality to come in the next couple of months. And you will definitely hear that from our marketing team. And also send them home, like I said, with a deliverable that empowers them to understand what's going on. You'll see over on the right-hand side, maybe you've run a retirement needs analysis target map for them, and they've really worked on their goals, and it looks like they're going to hit their retirement goals based on your calculations. Send them home with something that is quick and easy to understand, maybe a few pages as opposed to a short book. And we're just finding that provides a lot of great feedback. And, no matter what level of client we're talking about, everyone is looking for clarity and ease of understanding what's going on with their finances. And these reports, run the gamut for every type of client you might have. We're always looking to improve on our platform. So, additional features. Last year, I think we had one of our, most product releases of all time. It was very exciting. Things like, custom brand your asset map experience for your clients. Maybe be able to look at a family tree with our new relationships map that is available. And of course, put in a what if scenario in your asset map report and open up a draft and say, hey, here's some suggestions I've made for you. Let's talk about it before I implement it into practice. All really, really cool features that we've added on in the past couple of months. So I know that was a lot. What kind of questions do we have? Let's see what we got. Lex, would you like to come off mute real quick and let us know if there's anything that we can address for the whole audience, or have you mostly gotten to them in the chat?
Hi, everyone. I think we have mostly addressed them in the chat, but a few people here are using AI already. So I
Nice.
just wanted to talk about that. Dominic's using it for content creation, and Vin sounds like he's using it in a great way between generating the early ideas with then comparing to compliance and publishing a hybrid of the two, which seems like a really great use and efficient way of going about it. Another question from Victor here, which I think I've answered, but feel free to add because Alison is our integration expert, about whether any data points entered by a prospect or client are able to be transposed into Adapar with the integration that is available.
Wow, what a question. So right now, Adapar feeds into AssetMap. That is a great question. Adapar is a tool that I guess we released the integration a little over a year ago. And any kind of your performance or your account information that is in Adapar can be sent into AssetMap to help create those boxes that would kind of create your AssetMap profile. So right now, we're not sending data from AssetMap to Adapar, but Adapar account information is coming into AssetMap. But great question, Victor. And I do see Victor has also asked for sample reports. We certainly can provide some great materials to give you an example of what a printed output would look like. I don't think that would be a problem at all. Maybe we can plan on including that in the follow-up for everybody, just to see what kind of a PDF report you could put together that's super valuable, but also concise. Any other questions in there, Lex, that you think we should address?
I can jump in real quick
Yeah.
related to kind of the presentation and marketing in general. We've seen such demand from our AssetMap user base that we actually are now running. Leah Jean McHenry, our senior training manager, is running a monthly marketing webinar, training webinar, where she highlights the advisor marketing kit that AssetMap provides. We are ultimately looking to expand on that advisor kit, create more videos and more content for you to either embed on your website, add to your website, add to your email signature, post to your social media platforms, all of that. So super excited. If you are a user already, feel free to look at our blog. It should be in the upcoming webinar section. If you're a soon-to-be new user, I recommend going through our regular training first and then expanding on that as you grow your usage of the AssetMap platform.
That's great. And yeah, Lex, thank you for posting that. And gosh, I mean, I think this was perfect timing. If you all can think of any other questions, we are always happy to chat with you here at AssetMap, asset-map.com. You can sign up for demos, you can contact us. But really, like I said before you head out today, we're always willing to contact or chat with you about our other features. If you're looking for a more in-depth demo, our sales team is phenomenal. This contact information through the QR code will allow you to connect with us and get set up for more information, whether that be about training, about signing up for AssetMap, or finding out more. Again, we're happy to support you. TJ, any parting words?
No, just again, thank you for attending. We really appreciate it. Again, thanks for bearing with me. It's been a couple of years since I did this.
You crushed
Hopefully,
it.
it came across okay. But again, thank you for attending. Alison, closing remarks from
No,
you?
that's great. Thank you, TJ. I think we should make this at least an annual thing. And you did an amazing job. And I know that, finding out what the trends are, hearing some stats for yourself to make it real can really be valuable. So thank you for the hard work you did in finding all that valuable information for us as far as what's trending in marketing. That was great.